Hi there, ready to practice a little yoga? Going to do a brief practice class. I'm thinking probably should end up about 30-ish minutes. We'll start seated in a comfortable seat. Oh, thank you if you are watching this for taking the time to check it out. Friendly reminder, I am learning, so your feedback is very helpful. Obviously, as always, we got the pups that are going to join us because that's what they do. So we'll get started though. Go ahead and move, Mama. Okay? Be good. Be good. Okay. So just taking a minute, getting in touch with our breath, not changing it, not altering it, just taking a second to kind of get seated, get comfortable. I'm just sitting in a nice little, what we call easy seat. Not necessarily comfortable and easy for everybody. But just sitting in a way that allows you to feel nice and stable and comfortable. From here, let's bring our shoulders down and back. Roll them down and back. Maybe do that again. Bringing them up and roll them down and back. Just getting rid of some of that tension. Let's bring our palms and clasp them behind us. Now, after we do that, we want to bring both hands over here, hands clasped, towards our right hip and side. From there, we're going to let our left ear drop to our left shoulder. Just getting a nice little stretch here. Inhaling up. Let's bring our hands over now to the left side and thigh, like kind of in that direction. And this time we'll let our right ear drop towards our right shoulder. Inhaling back up, we will release our hands, shake those arms out. From here, we're going to do a seated side stretch. Taking that left hand out beside you, we'll take the right hand up towards the ceiling and then slowly start to lean towards the left, bringing that right hand now where it's pointing towards the side wall, bending that left elbow to allow for that stretch through the right side body. Inhaling back up, let's bring that right hand to the left knee. We're going to take that left hand now, not beside us, but back behind us. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. As we're ready, exhaling, we'll start to slowly twist, looking out over that left shoulder. Listening to our bodies, only going to the point that feels comfortable for us. Inhaling back to center. So now let's repeat that here on the right side. We'll take that right hand out beside us, directly beside us. Left hand up to the ceiling. As we're ready, stretching, bending over towards the right, bending that right arm, taking that left arm where now it's pointing towards the wall. Nice little side stretch for the left side of the body. Inhaling up, we'll take that left hand to the right knee. Taking that right hand now, instead of beside us, we're going to take it back behind us, sitting up nice and tall, nice, strong, straight spine. As we're ready, exhaling, we'll begin to twist, looking over that right shoulder. Inhaling, coming back to center. Keeping that left hand on the right knee. Let's bring that right hand over to the left knee. Sitting up nice and tall, and then just exhaling, hinging forward from the hips, bringing a little bit of a forward fold just to wherever feels comfortable. Inhaling up, we're going to come into our tabletop pose. So in tabletop pose, our knees are going to be directly under our hips, and our wrist will be directly under our shoulders. Our hands and wrists will be directly under our shoulders. So from here, we got our nice neutral spine. It's not lifted, it's not dropped. Nice neutral spine. As we inhale, we are going to drop our abdomen towards the mat, lifting our head and tailbone, coming into cow pose. We'll do that on the inhale. Exhaling, dropping the head and tailbone, drawing the abdomen in, bringing that belly button towards the spine for cat pose. Inhaling, lifting the head and tailbone, letting the abdomen drop for cow. Exhaling, dropping the head and tailbone, lifting the abdomen, bringing the belly button towards the spine, arching through the back for cat. Inhaling, moving into cow pose. Remember, cow pose, head and tailbone lifted, abdomen's allowed to kind of drop towards the mat. Exhaling, bringing that head and tailbone down, bringing the abdomen up. We'll do both of those poses one more time. So on the inhale, moving into cow pose. On the exhale, moving in to our final cat pose. Coming back to a neutral spine, we're going to move ourselves into plank. So in order to do that, we want to keep a nice strong base here through our hands and our shoulders. So we don't want our shoulders scrunched up. We want them to be nice and solid. We'll step our feet back, really strengthening through our thighs. Nice straight line from heels to top of your head for plank. Bringing the knees down to the mat, lowering yourself down all the way. Hands should be right under the shoulders. So as we're ready, inhaling, we'll lift our chest up off the mat just a bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. For cobra. Exhaling back down. We're going to curl our toes under, bringing ourselves back up into that tabletop pose. And then what we want to do is keeping our arms nice and straight, pushing our hips back. Let's bring our hips up and back. Think of forming a V with your body for downward facing dog. Bringing our knees down, we will come into our child's pose. So for child's pose, you can keep your knees fairly close together, or you can widen them, keeping the toes together. This is my preference, but whatever works best for your body. Sitting your hips back, coming into child's pose. We'll just take a few breaths here. Pet the puppy pose. Always got to include that. Oh, pet both puppy poses. Okay, we can't play favorites. From here, we're going to come back up into our tabletop. Friendly reminder, tabletop. Knees directly under hips, wrists directly under shoulders. So for this next pose, there's options. You can, on an exhale, take that right leg straight back behind you. Now, you don't want to raise it, you just want it kind of level. You want to try to keep your hips level. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can also lift that left arm. Bringing a hand down, bringing the knee down. We're going to take that right leg, out straight beside us, okay? So lifted, straight beside us. As we're ready, remembering how we sat back for child's pose, we'll sit our hips back for child's pose, as if we're in child's pose. Bringing that leg coming up, bringing that right knee back in, coming back to tabletop. So this time we're going to extend that left leg back behind us. Again, you can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can add lifting the right arm along with that left leg. Bringing that right hand back down. We're going to take that left leg out beside us, so keeping it out. And again, as we're ready, exhaling, we'll sit our hips back as if we were coming into child's pose, but we got that left leg extended out beside us. Going ahead and bringing that left knee in, and let's go ahead and sit our hips back for actual child's pose. Arms outstretched. Bringing our feet hip distance apart, curling the toes under. We'll bring our hips up and back one more time, coming into downward facing dog. Walking our feet forward, feeling free to bend into our knees. We're going to come forward into a forward fold. So in forward fold, the goal is to be hinging from the hips, not bending and stressing the back. So in order to do that, do put as much bend in your knees as you need to be able to comfortably support yourself, and you have your fingers reach the mat. From here, we'll bring our hands to our shin, lifting a little bit, coming up to a straight back for halfway lift. Exhaling back down to forward fold. Inhaling back to half lift. Exhaling one more time back to forward fold. This time we're going to inhale all the way up, hands up towards the ceiling. Bringing them down, coming into mountain pose. So we're going to do 2 rounds of sun salutations with a few little extra poses added in there. So here in mountain pose. In mountain pose, your feet are hip distance apart, palms facing forward. You want to be standing nice and strong, rooted, straight spine. Inhaling your arms up. Hinging from the hips, bending the knees as we come back down into a forward fold. From here, we're going to step that right foot back coming into a high lunge. You can also bring that right knee down for a low lunge. Either pose is amazing, so whichever one speaks to you. Hi, Bill. Then bringing the left foot back, coming into plank. So from plank, let's go ahead and bring the knees down. We'll lower to the mat. Again, hands should be directly under shoulders. Inhaling, we'll bring the chest up for cobra. Just a bit, it doesn't have to be a lot. Exhaling back down, curling the toes. We're gonna bring our hips up and back for downward facing dog. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. We're gonna step that right foot forward. Coming back into our high lunge. Now here we're gonna add just a little bit. Coming all the way up. So you're gonna be on the ball of that left foot, right foot firmly planted, arms up, chest up towards the ceiling, arching through the back just a bit for crescent lunge. From here, we'll bring that left foot, turning it so that the heel meets the floor. It'll be at about a 90-degree angle, keeping that nice bend in the right knee, arms out, shoulder distance for warrior two. Bringing that right hand forward, bringing the palm up. We'll bring the right hand up towards the ceiling, left hand to gently rest on our left thigh for reverse warrior. Inhaling, bringing our hands down on either side of this right foot, coming back up on the ball of that left foot. As we're ready, we'll step that left foot forward and find ourselves back in our forward fold. Even with the pup in the way. Inhaling our arms up. We're going to repeat that now on the other side. Exhaling, bending the knees, hinging from the hips, back into our forward fold. Hands firmly on the mat or the puppy. Hi, babies. Bringing that left foot back for our lunge. Remembering here, you can bring the left knee to the mat for a low lunge, or you can keep it up for a high lunge, whichever one speaks to you. As you're ready, stepping the right foot back, coming into your plank pose, nice and strong, straight line from head to heels. As we're ready, we'll bring our knees down and then lower ourselves to the mat here. Hands should be directly under your shoulders. Exhaling as you lift your chest for cobra. From here, we're going to bring ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Hips up and back. As we're ready, we'll step that left foot forward, remembering that this right knee can be down on the mat for a low lunge or elevated for a high lunge, whichever one works for us. From here, we're going to slowly bring our hands to our knees, start to find our balance, coming up for our crescent lunge. So heel is off the ground. I'm on the ball of that right foot, left foot firmly planted, nice strong bend in that left leg. Hands up towards the ceiling, small arch in my back, bringing my chest up towards the ceiling for crescent lunge. Bringing that right heel down to the mat. Your foot now will be at a 90-degree angle. Still get that nice strong bend in the left leg. Arms at shoulder distance for your warrior two. Bringing that left arm forward, turning the palm up. As we're ready, exhaling, we'll bring the left hand up to the ceiling, right hand to gently rest on the back of our right thigh for reverse warrior. Inhaling, we'll bring our hands back down to the mat on either side of that foot. When we're ready, we'll step that right foot up, coming back into our forward fold. Inhaling our arms up. Exhaling for one more forward fold, bending the knees, hinging from the hips. From here, half lift. Exhaling back to our forward fold. Let's bring ourselves back to our tabletop pose. Bringing the knees wide, toes in, sitting our hips back for child's pose. Inhaling back up, let's sit off to one hip. We're going to come to our backs. So just slowly bringing yourself down to the mat on your back. Ooh, mama. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, it's okay. Right, there you go. Thank you, baby. Okay, so once we get here comfortably on our back, let's bring our feet in, hip distance apart. Heels will be fairly close to your bottom. Arms just beside you. So from here, we're going to bring this left foot and put the left ankle right below the right knee for our reclined pigeon. So we can stay right here. We might want to take our left hand and just put a small amount of resistance on that left knee, encouraging a little more opening. Or if we'd like, we can grasp behind that right knee, drawing the right leg in towards us. Bringing that right foot back down, bringing the left foot back down, palms facing the mat right beside us, heels hip distance apart, fairly close to our bottoms. As we're ready, on an inhale, let's lift our hips up off the mat for bridge pose. So here in bridge pose, our head and our shoulders and our arms and palms will be on the mat, or soles of our feet will be on the mat, but our back and thighs will be lifted towards the ceiling. Lowering back down. This time we're going to bring that right ankle right under the left knee. Remembering here we have a couple of options. You can stay right here with your hands just resting on the mat beside you. You can take that right hand and put a little resistance on the right knee, encouraging more opening up through the hip. Or if you'd like, you can grasp behind your left knee, drawing your left leg in towards you. All of these afford great stretches, just listening to your body and what feels best for you today. Bringing that left foot back down to the mat, bringing the right foot back down to the mat. Again, we're going to move back into that bridge pose for a second. So we want our feet hip distance apart. We want our heels fairly close to our bottoms. Hands firmly planted on the mat. Palms face down. As we're ready, inhaling, we'll lift our hips. lowering back down to the mat. Let's draw our knees into us. And we can gently rock from side to side, turning the head the opposite direction. Typically, this will feel pretty good on your lower back, giving it a little massage. If for any reason it doesn't though, please don't do the rocking. Bringing our feet back down to the mat, fairly close to our bottom still. But let's bring our feet out towards the edges of our mat. From here, hands out beside us, we're going to look over our right hand and let our knees just gently drop to the left. Inhaling, our knees back up, this time looking over our left arm. We will gently let our knees drop over to the right. Inhaling back up. We're going to come into happy baby pose. So there's two ways we can do this. One way is we can take our index finger and middle finger and wrap that around our big toe, then bringing the sole of that foot pointing up towards the ceiling, and then we'll do the same thing on the right. So knees bent, nice bend in the knees, soles of your feet pointing up to the ceiling, holding onto the big toes. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can always take a hold of the side of your foot. Again, soles of the feet pointing up to the ceiling, nice strong bend in the knees, getting an opening through the hips here for child's pose. Sorry, happy baby is what I meant, happy baby. Bringing our feet down, back to the mat. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall off to open up towards the sides. Palms of the hands just resting, our arms just resting beside us for a reclined butterfly. So the soles of your feet are going to be touching probably about a foot distance away from your bottom. Just letting the knees open and fall to the sides here, coming into a nice reclined butterfly. We'll move into Shavasana, our resting pose here, by bringing the legs out straight. I find for me to just bring my feet towards the edges of my mat, letting everything rest and relax here, closing our eyes, just allowing your body to sink into the mat, just focusing in on your breathing. Again, not trying to change your breathing or alter it, just noticing it, just paying attention to your inhales and exhales, letting your body sink deeper into the mat with each exhale, and just release and relax all that tension. Continuing to breathe, just allowing yourself to relax, eyes closed. Starting to move through the fingers and the toes, bringing a little movement back into your body. As you're ready, you can stretch your arms out over your head, getting a nice stretch through your entire body. We'll bring the feet in, back to the mat, bringing the arms down. Slowly, easily, let's curl up, rolling off to one side. You can let your head rest on your arm. We'll bring ourselves up slowly to an easy seated position, just sitting comfortably for us. As we're ready, inhaling our arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Inhaling arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Inhaling arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Thank you for taking the time to check out this practice. Thank you for any feedback or input you have on how my teaching is going. It's fun to learn something new, and I appreciate you guys helping me with that. Thank you.